I went to Pflugerville High School. Our neighbors are not Muslim, and we interact with each other. There's always some little nervousness, but when we actually meet and talk and console one another in times of grief, then the real humanity and actual neighborliness that the three monotheistic faiths promote in a very explicit sort of way, as well as, I'm assuming, the other major faith traditions, that begins to come out. So again, I didn't want to start negative, but I just, at the same time, didn't want you to assume that, oh, everybody loves Muslims and nothing is wrong. So at the same time, here's some other messages. This is a positive message. So this is saying Muslims are, family people, praying, worship. This is actually a nice poster that was started it's an ad campaign actually by some Muslims in England. But you see right away the satire that was made about it. So this is actually a Muslim woman who is, I think, in the justice system there. I don't know the terminology that they use, barrister, I don't know what they say. But in any case, she put, I believe in women's rights, so did Muhammad, peace be upon him. Peace, respect, love is Islam. And then you have people reacting back. It says, I believe in exterminating all Jews, so did Muhammad. So you can tell these type of things are designed to produce a reaction, produce a response. Most educated people, even if they have a bias against Islam and Muslims, they don't act on these sort of messages. However, there have been, in the United States, several cases recently where acts of violence were linked to messages that people were seeing. One example, in the subway system, there was a really hateful kind of message there against Islam and Muslims. And a person, he actually pushed someone. He thought he was a Muslim. He actually turned out to be a Sikh, I think, he killed him on the subway. He pushed him into that place, I don't know what you call it, where the subway is. So this is, it's a really serious kind of thing because people are very fickle and manipulatable, if that's a real word or not. I don't know. Sometimes I invent words. You'll notice that about me. So, okay, let's end with something positive instead of seeing all that. So, there's other messages. These are young Muslim girls, happy, smiling. Peace, love, Islam. I don't know if y'all can see this. It says, I'm a tourist, not a terrorist. So, this is kind of the world that we're in today, and it presents some interesting challenges as well as opportunities. So before I actually proceed into the lecture, I just want to see, does anybody want to give any response to what they saw? Very positive. Welcome back. Maybe warmed your heart up a little bit. Muslims trying to say we're a Muslim and also American. At the same time, some of the messages saying, watch out for them Arabs, Muslims, right? So, any reactions to what you saw before we proceed? Yes? It's always nervous at the beginning. It's like, oh, nothing is held against you. No? No reactions? Or are you just trying to process it? I threw it at you all at once. So, all right. So do not be overwhelmed, by what you see on the website about Islam. It's one of the most volatile topics on the internet that I've ever seen. More volatile than sports fans who love their sports teams. More volatile than political issues. So this course hopefully is just a place where we can be more calm and rational. I hope, and actually makes the class better when you ask real questions. Do not worry about offending me or offending Muslims. We know that you're here in good faith and good spirit, that we all live in the same city together. So with that, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we'll be discussing in this first lecture tonight. Number one is the Muslim community of Austin. Before even going into Islam and something far off, maybe a little bit abstract, who are the Muslims in Austin and what are they like and how many of them are there and what are some of their institutions? Then we will look at what is Islam as the faith tradition itself and the overall fabric and system, religion. You'll see what we talk about when we talk about Islam as a whole way of life. And then also, who are the Muslims? With some level of depth, but hopefully at each of these three junctures, you'll have a chance to ask questions. And then we could tailor the lecture more to what you're interested in as well. All right, so where you are at now is called the North Austin Muslim Community Center. So this was started back in the 90s. This property was purchased. This building was built later. And it came as a result of a need here in North Austin, where you have a growing number of Muslims, but not just Muslims. I think North Austin now is the population center for the whole city of Austin, is right here in North Austin. So this is the mosque in Austin that is attended by the most most populated mosque. We have Fridays, of course, are the congregational days for Muslims. So Christians on what day? Sunday? I'm glad y'all still knew that. Like, oh, don't scare me. Christians on Sunday. Okay, Jews on. So Muslims said, we'll go first. We're going Friday. So we have about 1,000 people who are coming to the Friday prayers at this mosque. There are 8 other mosques in Austin and the surrounding area. The first one was actually built, or not built, purchased by the University of Texas, by anybody here used to go to Bert's Barbecue? I say used to go because it burned down a few years ago. But nobody likes Bert's Barbecue? We're the Austinites here. MLK and, okay. I think I'm more Austinite than you guys. I grew up here, Austin. Okay. That's going to be on YouTube now. That's why, man, don't put that on YouTube. I have it. Imam is putting up symbols of, okay. So in any case, so that was the first mosque to serve, obviously, the graduate Muslim students who were coming here. So President Kennedy, he had a wise immigration policy, and then I guess LBJ followed up later, which resulted from the perspective of the countries overseas in the brain drain. So to bring the best and the brightest from all over the world, including the Muslim world. And so they're coming to universities like the University of Texas, major university around the world. Their graduate students coming to do their engineering degrees, etc., like my father. But then they said, we need a place to pray. I think one of the churches on campus used to let them pray in the basement. I don't know if it was University Methodist or who it was. They're pretty liberal, so they probably didn't mind Muslims praying in their basement. I don't know about nowadays. But nowadays, even they would, even with all the negativity. This is back in the 70s. So Islam was misunderstood, but I don't think it was as demonized as it is becoming. So in any case, they said, well, we want to get our own place. So they got an old house, maybe it was a fraternity house. It's still there at 1906 Nueces. If you want to visit, they have a really good imam, Imam Omar Ismail, very knowledgeable. And also now they have 1908 Nueces. Then you also have a mosque in East Austin. That's at Manor Road. You have a mosque in South Austin. As you can see, it's to serve the geographical and population areas where Muslims would be. You have a mosque now in Round Rock, one in Brushy Creek, Avery Ranch area. You also have mosques on the east part of town as well. The brothers are trying to make an effort to establish a regular mosque there. You have in Pflugerville now a smaller mosque. And nearby also we have in San Marcos, also there's a mosque there. So it's definitely what I've seen growing up here, because I spent my whole life pretty much in Austin, is just a huge growth. When I was going to the mosque in Nueces, which is by the university, for the Friday prayer altogether in the 80s, I can remember maybe 50 men and women. And now you have 8 or 9 mosques. Like I said, this one has 1,000. Other mosques have about 200 each, roughly. There are about, I've always heard 10,000 Muslims, but I've been hearing that for about 10 years now. So, and I've seen the numbers grow, so it's probably about 15,000 Muslims in Austin and the surrounding areas. So definitely when you include Round Rock and Pflugerville and where else am I forgetting? Round Rock, Pflugerville,